All right, let's get into it. Today, we're looking at a protocol that isn't just another player in DeFi lending. It's one that's actually rewriting the rulebook from the ground up. It's called Morpho, and it represents a massive shift in how we think about building on-chain credit markets.
And to really get to the heart of what makes Morpho so different, let's start with a really interesting question. Why on earth would a DeFi giant like Compound, one of the absolute OGs of lending, decide to build its new products on top of a protocol it used to compete with? The answer to that, well, it tells you everything you need to know about Morpho's radical new approach.
So, to figure out that whole Compound situation, we first have to zoom out and look at the world Morpho was born into. It was a world dominated by the first wave of DeFi lending protocols. And frankly, they came with some serious baggage. Now look, protocols like Aave and Compound were absolutely revolutionary, no doubt about it. They built the first real credit markets on-chain, but they were built as what we call monolithic systems. So picture this giant, tangled machine where every single part, lending, borrowing, risk, governance, is all welded together into one big, complex piece of code. It worked, sure, but it wasn't very flexible. And that monolithic design created some real headaches. You had these one-size-fits-all risk models that treated every asset and every user the same, which is just not efficient. This created these huge, slow-moving pools of capital where lenders were actually earning less than they could have been. And what if you wanted to innovate, to add a new asset? Well, get ready for a slow, super political governance process. It just choked innovation and made these platforms a total non-starter for institutions that need way more control.
So how do you fix a problem that's baked into the very architecture? Well, this is where Morpho's solution is so brilliant. Instead of trying to just build a slightly better monolith, they decided to smash the monolith a bit.
In this quote right here, it just nails their entire philosophy. The innovation isn't about adding more features, more bells and whistles. It's about what they took away. By stripping out all that heavy governance and bundled up risk, they unlocked this incredible new level of efficiency and speed. It's addition by subtraction. You know, even the name Morpho comes from this idea. It's named after the blue Morpho butterfly. And the crazy thing is, its wings aren't blue because of pigment. They're blue because of the microscopic structure of the wings themselves. That's a perfect metaphor for the protocol, right? The elegance comes from the structure, not from slapping on more complexity.
And all of this brings us to their core, central idea, unbundling. Morpho takes all those functions of a lending protocol and just splits them into two clean, separate, powerful layers. And that one simple move, it changes everything.
So what are these two layers? How does this unbundling thing actually work? Let's get into the architecture, because this is really where the magic happens. The whole stack is just beautifully simple. At the very bottom, you have Morpho Blue. You can think of this as the bedrock. It's super simple, it's unchangeable, and it's hyper secure. All it does is handle loans. That's it. Then, on top, you have Morpho Vaults. These are the brains of the operation. This is the flexible, permissionless layer where all the custom risk management and strategy lives. I think the best way to get your head around this is to think of it like financial Legos. Morpho Blue is the base plate, and all the standard little bricks, the supply and borrow functions. Then you have the expert risk managers, guys like Gauntlet. They're the Lego masters. They take those basic bricks and build these really sophisticated models, or vaults. And for the rest of us, we don't have to be master builders. We just get to walk in, pick a finished model that we like, and put our money in. It's that easy.
And here is the big payoff from all this. Because that risk layer is separate and permissionless, anyone, and I really mean anyone, can spin up a brand new, totally isolated lending market. Instantly. No permission required. This just unleashes what you could call a Cambrian explosion of innovation. You can have a market for a long-tail asset, a market with super specific risk rules, anything you can think of.
Okay, so that all sounds great on paper, right? Brilliant architecture. But is it actually working in the real world? Let's look at the on-chain data, because the numbers and the adoption, they tell a pretty incredible story. First off, just look at the money flowing in. Over $6 billion in total value locked. That's not just a number, that's a massive vote of confidence from the market in this new design. And that capital isn't just sitting there gathering dust, it's working.
It's generating over $141 million in interest for lenders every year. This proves it's a super active and highly efficient place to put your capital.
But honestly, the most shocking number, the one that really makes you go wow, is this one, 0. That's how much revenue the Morpho protocol itself takes. 100% of the interest generated goes directly to the lenders. This isn't a company trying to maximize profit. It's true public infrastructure.
But the ultimate proof is who's using it. Remember that question we started with? Well, here's your answer. Compound, a direct competitor, is now building on Morpho Blue. Seamless, a huge protocol on Base, literally ripped out their old Aave-based system and moved their entire protocol over to Morpho. And you have giants like Coinbase using it for their own on-chain products. When your competitors start building on you, you know you've built something better. This table just lays it all out so clearly. Look at the rows for market creation and risk management. Aave and Compound are permissioned and internal. Morpho is permissionless and external. This isn't just a small tweak, it's a fundamentally different philosophy about how finance should work, one that favors speed, flexibility, and specialization over a single top-down system.
So what's the endgame here? Where does all this lead? Well, Morpho's ambition isn't just to be a better DeFi app. It's aiming much, much higher. It's aiming to be the foundational layer for the future of all finance.
And that modular design we've been talking about? It turns out it's perfectly engineered to be the bridge between traditional finance and DeFi. It's especially well-suited for the massive opportunity of bringing real-world assets. We're talking things like real estate, private credit, you name it, on-chain. And this quote reveals the key insight that could unlock trillions of dollars. You can have a hybrid model. An institution can issue an asset that's permissioned, meaning only approved KYC'd people can hold it. But then they can take that compliant asset and create a market for it on Morpho's totally permissionless lending layer. It gives them the best of both worlds, institutional-grade compliance combined with global 24/7 DeFi liquidity. Which leaves us with one last massive question to think about. By creating this neutral, incredibly efficient, and open financial railroad, is Morpho building the very bridge that Wall Street will finally use to cross over into DeFi? The foundation is there. The pioneers are already building on it. The potential is just absolutely staggering. And it's a future that's being built right now, block by block.